Hey YouTube. Up until now we've covered cracking WEP and WPA, WPA2 encryption on routers. And so for this video we're going to take it a little bit step farther, and let's say that a hacker cracks a WEP or WPA, whatever, successfully. They're able to then connect to that network. What other things are possible for them to do? And this is obviously meant to raise your awareness of security and how to recognize certain things. So there are there's some people that don't like these videos, I know, because they think that all I'm doing is showing you guys how to do all the bad stuff, when realistically you could look at it that way, but the other hand will say that I'm raising your awareness, and I'm showing you that, hey, don't get WEP encryption, do a WPA or WPA2. Keep your password real strong and crazy, make it really unique. Something that's going to be hard to crack. I mean, just things like that. I think some people, they don't really want to think about this stuff exists, or that they're just going to go on through their lives and whatever. But computers are, used by people every day. Probably, I'm on the computer every single day, so it's a big part of life, I think. But anyways, so let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so basically what we're going to do today is, excuse me, I'm going to show you a man-in-the-middle attack. And there's several different man-in-the-middle attacks. And basically, just think about it as you're putting your computer in a unique position to where it can intercept traffic from the victim's machine to the router or the access point, and you're able to intercept that information. And that's just one of the ways of doing it. There are several, like I've said, different ways to do this. One of the most effective ones that I have personally seen is a particular way of ARP poisoning, and we're going to get into that in just a second. So before we get into the actual program, we're going to have to edit the configuration file, and let me show you where that configuration file is. On every backtrack will have this program here, which I have on my desktop. Ettercap or Eatercap, I don't care how you say it, but in backtrack 5 is the start menu, backtrack, privilege escalation, sniffers, network sniffers, and then it's right here. There's two of them. One of them is -ng and the other one's -gtk. The ng is if you want to get into a console and do it all by just raw command line type stuff. The interface is more user friendly for those beginners, so I am going to be using the graphical look, and I just dragged it to my desktop. So okay, now that we have that, we're going to go ahead and get to the comp file before we actually open this. And the comp file will be in one of two locations. Backtrack 5, it's going to be in the Dolphin File Manager, and you're going to want to go to your root folder, and it's going to just be straight up in the etc folder. And you're going to scroll down, and here it is right here, etc.conf, right there. And basically I've configured it to open with a text editor. You can actually right click on this, go to open with, and then you can open it. Backtrack 5 comes with kwrite. I also have Kate, so the older versions of Backtrack will have Kate. So you can use either or. Either one of those will work. So let's go ahead and look at that. And if yours is not in that folder, I'll show you where it is in just a second. Until then, the configuration file will still be the same, just the location might be different. So I want you to pay attention. All we're doing is scrolling down to the Linux section. And under the Linux section, there's a thing that says if you use IP tables, okay? And I've already edited this, but before I edited it, all it was just this. It had the little notation symbols, or the little pound symbols, if you will, before these two command lines. And if you watch my videos before, anytime that we look at a comp file and it has these symbols in there, basically Linux is going to ignore what's there. These are basically just notes. So we want Linux to now recognize this. So the folks that designed Ettercap already did us the favor of putting the code in here. All we have to do is just sort of like unlock it, if you want to think of it like that. So we're going to remove both of those symbols there. And we're going to go to File, and we're going to go to Save. And we're going to close it out. And for those of you that don't have Backtrack 5, where you're going to want to look, if you couldn't find it there, is we're going to go back to the root folder, the USR folder, the local folder, and then the etc folder there. You also have an etc folder there. And this is where it used to be located. I know in Backtrack 3 it was located in here. But you have all these other comp files in here. You even have the Kismet comp file in there. So anyways, it used to be located there, so that's where you would do it. And you would do the same thing, open it with the text editor, that sort of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and close that out right now. Alright, so one last thing before we actually open up the program. The situation is a hacker maybe connected to a WEP encrypted router, WPA2, whatever, or even maybe an open network. I mean, that's why I'm going to talk about open networks here for just a second. Or, you know, so if you crack the WEP or you crack the WPA2, basically then you're going to connect after that. You're going to take that WEP key, the web key, or you're going to take the passphrase, whatever, and then you successfully connect and you obtain an IP address. So if we look at my network manager, I am connected to the network, and it shows my IP address 192 blah 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 blah. But I am connected. I can surf the net and all that sort of thing. So okay, for those of you who like to connect to an open network, meaning a non-secure network that's not encrypted with WEP or WPA2 or WPA, any of that, that's really dangerous. And I'm not saying, I mean, for one, I mean, like if you're stealing your neighbor's internet or something, okay, that's illegal in the first place. But for those of you, I'm just saying, because you know, a lot of times when people see those open connections, you know, they connect to it, and there's quite a few people at times that are probably connected to it at one time. So this can be really dangerous. You know, on one hand, the person says, cool, I can connect for free and I can go check my mail and all that stuff. Because when you get on the internet, what do? You want to check your mail, you want to go to your bank, you want to do, you know, stuff like that. And if you're going on an open connection, I'm just saying, you're about to see it's going to be really dangerous. So just please take that as a warning, as a security awareness thing. I know that some of you are going to connect to those open networks, but it's just really not smart. It can ruin your life. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and open up Ettercap. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to Sniff, and we're going to go to Unbridged Sniffing. And you're going to select your interface. Mine is WLAN 0. Yours may be something else. Use your interface, just like you would use if we were doing like an arrow dump or something like that. Say okay, it's going to load the plugins and all that stuff available. It show you down here. Go to hosts, and always, whenever you use Ettercap, no matter if you're using this attack or any other attack, you always scan for the hosts. So let's scan for those hosts. And it says 3 hosts have been added to the host list. And if you want, you could go to host and then click on host list. Now it displays the other IPs that are on the same network as I'm connected to. And then here's where it could get a little complicated, but let me explain. I'm going to keep it really as simple as I can. I know that this one right here, the 1.1, this is the access point, the router, okay? And the 1.2 is the victim's machine. This is another machine that I have right next to me, and that's the IP address to that machine. And if you look before at my IP, mine is the 168.1.4.